wonder when you see that trend where everything becomes mission, what's lost when we move that way?
Yeah, well, I think an urgency and a priority to take the gospel to those where it does not exist, that becomes just one other thing among other church activities. In other words, we lose an intentionality, we lose a zeal, we lose an apostolic zeal. If in the room of church activities and tasks, if preaching the gospel, if planting churches, if those things are just as equivalent to other good things the church should be doing, creation care, it's a great thing. Caring for widows and orphans, it's biblical. We must do that. But if everything is equal, if everything as far as what the church can do in the world is equal, then why should I give any priority to try to reach an unreached people group when, I need to take better care of the environment in my own neighborhood? And so I would just say, is there a prioritization in the scriptures? Is there a gravity that exists in the scriptures of what the church should be doing and giving priority to? And I would say yes. I mean, if you look at Acts chapter 6, for example, I mean, the food distribution over the widows caused problems in Jerusalem. And it wasn't that food distribution to widows was bad and was wrong. It was that the apostles were being distracted. And so they were engaging in overseeing, this ministry to the Hebraic and the Grecian widows. And Luke records that they were neglecting evangelism, preaching of the gospel, and prayer. And so they appoint these 7 individuals to oversee this ministry. And it wasn't that the apostles were saying this is bad, let's not do it. It was that, no, this is important, this is significant, that caring for widows is what we're to be about as the established church and develop these ministries. But we're neglecting these other things. And so what happens is that once they get this resolved, the fascinating thing is that the apostles go back to preaching the gospel and prayer. Now, some look at that and they say, well, for the apostles, that was supposed to be their priority. For the other people, they were supposed to have this priority. And so again, there's no priority. But that's not what Luke does in that text. Luke, in verse 6 and verse 7, draws his attention back to the theme that he was running through the book of Acts in those first 5 chapters, and that is on the spread of the gospel among the unreached. And once this tension is resolved among the widows, the gospel then begins to travel across cultural gaps to among the most difficult people to reach at that point in time, and that was the group of the priests. And it says the priests become believers. So if you hold to any kind of prioritization right now in evangelical circles, for the most part, you are in a minority perspective. And I would say biblically, I don't see that holding the evidence, the weight.